Today we're going to look at odds, and odds are slightly different than probabilities. So as we get into it, what we're going to do is first of all talk about a probability, then talk about odds, then talk about how we can switch from probabilities to odds. And that's today's lesson. That's what we're looking at today, is just switching between those. So first of all, let's go back to what a probability is. A probability is going to be favorable outcomes divided by the total number of outcomes. And that's going to be a decimal equivalent, some sort of a percent, and that'll be your probability. Now, odds are slightly different. Odds are either going to be odds in favor, or odds are going to be against. So what's the odds something is going to happen versus what's the odds against something's not going to happen? And so what you do is you put the unfavorable stuff first, you put a little colon, and you put the unfavorable stuff second. Here you would put unfavorable first, and you would put favorable second. Now, for probability, the difference is we use a total. Over here, if you added together favorable plus unfavorable, you would get the total. And that's the difference between odds and probability. Again, odds are using favorables and totals. Probabilities are using favorable over total. Odds are using favorable first and unfavorable second. So like 9-1 or 6-4. And it would be 6-4 against if I was going unfavorable was 6 and favorable was 4, something like that. So if I had a probability that was 6 out of 10, that would reduce down to 3/5, which ends up being 60%. Okay, or 0.6 would be your probability. All right, great. That would be a probability. But over here, what you would do for favorable, you have 6 favorable outcomes and how many unfavorable? Well, if there's 10 altogether and 6 of them are favorable, that means you only have 4 unfavorables. If the odds against would be 4 against and 6 for, or in favor of. And so 6 out of 4 would be your in favor odds. 4 out of 6 would be your against odds. And you have a 60% chance of getting the probability favorable over total. And that's what odds looks like. It's pretty simple. Again, the total is going to be favorable outcomes plus unfavorable outcomes. So what you'll see is unfavorable outcomes are going to be equal to the total minus favorable outcomes. We'll run into a little bit of math like that, just a little bit. All right, so we'll go ahead and try one of these problems out. It's not all that bad. Again, it's going to be favorable first, unfavorable second. That's in the in favor odds. And then if you wanted to find the odds against, you would just do the unfavorable first and the favorable second. So let's go ahead and flip, flip, flip. We end up with, on a school trip, 180 students stop at a fast food restaurant. Each student gets 1 game piece, and 6 of them are going to win. So what we're really looking at for our probability of winning, you have a 6 out of 180% chance. That's going to reduce down to 1 over 30, which is some number I don't feel like calculating. But that would be the probability. We're not doing probability today. What we're looking at is the favorables over the totals. Since the total is 180, we're going to do 180 minus 6 to find out the unfavorables. So here's my unfavorable, is 140. All right. So odds in favor would be 6 in favor and 174 not in favor. It just so happens that this reduces actually, and we do need to reduce that. 6 goes into 174 if you divide them. I already know because I'm smart. But 174 divided by 6 is going to be 29. Maybe you knew that too. Great. So that would be my unfavorable, favor first, unfavorable second. This is the odds of being in favor. And the odds against would be the exact same thing. 29 to 1 would be against. 1 to 29 would be in favor. Easy stuff. We'll look at some more problems in just a second. All right. Pretty simple. Let's embrace the magic.